basilica, you don't need a cathedral, you don't need a synagogue, you don't need a church, you don't need a worship center, or whatever else they call it now. You don't need that stuff. Right? The Most High dwelleth not in temples made with hands. Now we're going to go to the body of Christ next. Go to 1 Corinthians chapter 3. Go to these pagan and Catholic, vampire type movies and whatever else,
What's that? Yeah, well, if you listen to that other one, you'll see. Yeah, they don't listen to the concerns at all. Well, I don't see why anybody would do that. Well, I don't see why anybody would say that. You're not a racist. And he's trying to, yeah, but that's what they said other kids are saying. Right, making him scared that someone else might just beat him up because now he's labeled as a racist. I don't know. He doesn't even know like what was written. He's like, I don't know. And the teacher was showing it to us. Something sexual. I said, what does that have to do with being racist? He's like, I don't know. Right, so it's just all the other kids need to know is he was suspended. And it was, right, rumors will happen. Some kids will think it's racist. Some kids will think it's, they'll tell whatever group wants to beat someone up for something. If they know people want to get the racist people or the transgender people or the whatever people. You understand? God's not interested in sinful, wicked people coming and worshiping Him. So, yeah, like we said, they've been targeting kids on and offline. Yeah, and as we told you, the sick motherfucker next door, even when he was a little toddler, remember? Saying he was going to be a serial killer, whispering in my ear, trying to get me to think he was going to be a serial killer, and he was going to grow up to kill me. Saying, listen to his laugh, he has an evil laugh. He was whispering these things in my ear when he thought I was in and out of sleep. Yeah, and I had just had foot surgery. Yeah, there was a lot of weird stuff going on too, wasn't there? Pretty sick, disgusting, and disturbing when you understand what was known and what we were documenting. Yeah, a lot of people are well aware of it, and they know. People know. A lot of good people know. So we try to tell others that, and when they want to play on the... As long as they don't say anything and they stick with the cool crew and not acknowledge or talk about the controversial subjects that help to expose these things. And as you can see, everybody's very much in compliance within a lot of those groups. Yeah, within other groups, they're speaking out. It's interesting how many of them have gotten attacked over the years for simply speaking the truth.
If you're a Christian, you're a saint, according to the scriptures. You don't have to, have a miraculous appearance of angels or something and perform a miracle and be canonized by a bunch of pedophiles.
Oh, yeah. He was telling me he was going to be a serial killer. He was going to kill me. He was leaving a loaded gun around. Yeah, it's all documented. It's very well documented.
Okay, that makes sense. The Lord's got some cancer apparently in his body or something. There's some malignant tumors or whatever there in the body of Christ. That they go out and look at some porn once in a while, and go out and drink a little bit, and they go out and do drugs and fornicate and whatever, but they're still Christian.
Oh yeah, and then when you look at the associations with the catalytic converter chop shops, then the concerns there, the private investigator trying to heed warning and all the sluts and idiots around here, they've all moved away. They're dead or in jail, if you haven't noticed. Yeah, so the ones that went down to Florida, Texas, California, we've talked about this. Right, and this manipulation and the psychotic people that are targeting innocent people and just using people and their disabilities, medications, reputations. Right, I mean, you use them until they become more of a liability than an asset, and then you get rid of them, right? And as you can see, that's what they did. We're dead mothers. Usually the me isn't this aware. And if we weren't, we would be dead. Or in a wheelchair. Yeah, we would have had that vein surgery they wanted us to have, or we were going to die. Right, no, never had the surgery. Thank goodness. Yeah, no, when they were mad because instead, we changed our diet a little bit and did some stretches. Amazing. Incredible. It's such a cool experience, and to have people ignoring it. You're crazy. We're going to, go ahead. Another one is going to die for not listening to her doctor. Absolutely insane. As opposed to acknowledging how good people are doing who choose more natural and holistic options. In some cases, I'm not saying don't take your pills or do your surgery or any of that. You go ahead and do whatever you want. If your doctor says you need a surgery or you need to take some pills, you go ahead and do that if you want to. But for us personally, unless we're in some kind of an accident or we have a really bad infection and we need pain medication or an antibiotic, I mean, there's not too much. Yeah, if our pancreas all of a sudden shuts down, we might need some insulin.
You get around these Christians and you start to talk about truth, and they'll start looking down or changing the subject or getting really uncomfortable, and you go, yeah, that's weird. Just like the lost people I deal with.
Right, and some people, for some reason, the anxiety, what is it? What feelings and symptoms of anxiety do you have that make you feel like you need to take those pills? Right, a lot of times, oftentimes, people will go into experiences they had and who's stressing them out and this, whatever it is, it's their job, it's the kids, they were raped as a child, whatever it was. Right, okay, so that's not the symptoms. What are the symptoms that you need, that you have for the need to take the pills? Those things usually aren't asked. I mean, they just write the script.
Let's go next to Ephesians chapter 2.
If you say you're having anxiety and depression, they might let you explain a little bit and listen to your sob story. But either way, you're going to get probably the depression or anxiety medication. Yeah, they usually start you off with like a weak, generic one because they want you to come back and ask for something stronger and better. This is well known. This has gone on for years. No, we don't take that stuff. We stay right away from it. I know, for some reason they seem to want to push that we need it and we're dangerous if we don't take it. Absolutely fucking insane, and that's a huge part of the problem, and people need to realize that. Yeah, us getting angry in our rehab classes, right, we do moderation. Sometimes we just sit in as a listener. Sometimes we're not even there. But we hear, man, we hear.
Many years ago, I was being attacked by this disgusting individual. Martin Richland was his name. I don't know if the guy's even still alive. I rebuked him, and he got cancer after that. Kind of an interesting thing, but he was a crooked police officer. He went to jail for extortion and bribery.
I rebuked him, and he got cancer after that.
I mean, now therefore ye are no more strangers and foreigners, but fellow citizens with the saints and of the household of God, and are built upon the foundation of the apostles and prophets, Jesus Christ himself being the chief cornerstone, in whom all the building fitly framed together groweth unto an holy temple in the Lord, in whom ye also are builded together for an habitation of God through the Spirit. Very interesting. An habitation of God through the Spirit. You know, one of the most amazing things when you get saved, and as you're getting firmly established in the doctrines and the faith of Jesus Christ and the Holy Spirit revealing the Scriptures to you, you'll find something with other Christians, and that's called the fellowship of the Spirit. Many years ago, I was being attacked by this disgusting individual. Martin Richland was his name. I don't know if the guy's even still alive. I rebuked him, and he got cancer after that. Kind of an interesting thing, but he was a crooked police officer. He'd gone to jail for extortion and bribing and all kinds of stuff, and he had aspirations to be a Jesuit. I mean, the guy was just top-notch, and he was going off about all this stuff about that you had to come to his school or whatever, and if you didn't, you weren't saved and everything. And,
what's that?
And I said that thing you're having.
Oh, okay. So now they're saying, yeah, I'm an evil person. I'm laughing about people getting cancer. No, I don't think that's funny, somebody getting cancer. It was just in the moment we were talking and then we hear. Some guy attacked me. I don't know. I rebuked him and then he got cancer. It just sounded funny to us in general. It wasn't We weren't laughing at people getting cancer. Yeah, and we don't have to explain ourselves either, but we just do for other listeners in the audience, just for entertainment purposes and understanding. Yeah, peace on her. But yeah, no, it's just the kind of things people like us who speak the truth deal with psychotic pieces of shit within the state departments, drug traffickers, sluts, teachers. Yep, not all. There's more good than bad, I think, and many of them know too, and they don't take sides, and we would rather they agree with their co-workers and be like, yeah, she's crazy, keep an eye on her. Psycho, yep, gotta get rid of that one. That's the problem. Right, and the fact that people are even doing these things as opposed to just living life and equality. No, they can't. They got to make sure there's no child molesters, there's no this or that, and they're protecting the worst ones. They make sure there's no racist people. Yeah, okay. Right, so they did the same thing to the Lewiston shooter. It's almost like clockwork what they have been doing here and what they did with the Lewiston shooter and other people. Yeah, we can name specific areas. Yeah, when you look at those specific areas and what happened, mass shootings, kids torn apart in the streets by dogs coming from separate directions that were directly connected to their parents being involved with drug deals gone bad. Yeah, and we could do this all day long. We can name so many. We have poster ones, you know, for people's privacy and stuff. A lot of people and families are still alive. I know. Trying to recover, get out of the life. I know. Remember little Lucas, days before he died, in the bathroom of an overdose, he was messaging me. I don't know. He said he was kind of scared. I have the messages right here. I posted them on Facebook. Yeah, we don't go on Facebook anymore. We haven't been on there in a while, but our old accounts, you have them all. It's all on the record there. You got it. Yeah, we have the hard copies here too if you need them. Yeah, we got a lot of chips. Going back to, these ones go back to '09, those chips. And then, yeah, a lot of that other stuff, if you remember David Wilcock and others involved with the source field investigations and other things. Nuclear propulsion, that kind of stuff. Yeah, have you noticed, like, most of them have disappeared or gone dead? And Fox News is actually reporting those ones. How come? I know, in the past they usually don't report it when these things happen. Right, like if you go back to 2009, you had doctors, scientists, private investigators, people disappearing, killing themselves. Oh, they're crazy. Oh, talking about Mayans. Gaslit them, the fucking druggies and nasty fucking pieces of shit around here. That went down to Florida and played victim widow. Wow, you sick fucks. Nasty fucking people. Evil. These people have been evil. I've tried to love them, you know, since I was a kid. They just keep trying to kill me. And they hate me for some reason. I think it's because I don't go along with their nasty fucking lifestyles. The drugs and the limelight shit. It's fucking nasty and gross to me, and it always has been. Nothing wrong, you know, with good hygiene, though. I think that's important. Yeah, a little bit. Hopefully, yeah, anyone listening, hopefully the proper authorities here in Augusta, Maine step in and do what they're supposed to do, because these racist, sick-headed, monkey, motherfucking pieces of shit are not going to do anything, like we told you. In 2009, yeah, the sick motherfucker up the hallway telling me to be quiet while I'm nicely trying to help my son who's dealing with the same fucking ignorance and bullshit, trying to talk to psycho Nana who likes to tell ghost and alien stories and ignore the abuse of children while sick punks fuck our kids. I know. I tried, remember, back around COVID, and I said, I remember just for shits and giggles, What about the little boy who got beat up in the tub? This is all on tape and it's recorded. You all have that too. Oh, that little brat probably deserved it. It was just a whack. Oh, well, you protected him. All these excuses, again, just like everything else. Right? Not actually focusing on what happened. Protecting the abuser. Right, and it's like, how did I protect him? How did I protect him? I'm just wondering, because as far as I knew, the mother and other people were taking his ass to court, and she got full custody, so how was I protecting him? When you see what the psychos in the State Department and others were doing, the source field investigations that were going on, when I mentioned the name David Wilcock to him, he threw my phone. Right, because we know they do those kind of investigations. And they protect certain people. And David Wilcock and others are well aware of the people in these communities who protect certain people. And it helps their businesses too, right? Ghost hunting, alien hunting. Save the farmer's daughter. I know. Find the good aware people, get them out. Yeah, you want to make sure when you blow the place up, it's just the sick, stupid, racist people. There's going to be a few that don't deserve it, but we know that's just part of what we do, right? Yeah, no, I'm telling you, public, I've listened to it, I've seen it, I've heard it, and I'm trying to tell you, if you want to help humanity, yourselves in any way, I suggest you speak up as to what's happening here with the child and animal pornography. How they share and feed that to these activist groups directly connected to some of those groups. And they know that. They know that sometimes some of the people within those traveling bands do some really sick shit. And they use the reputation and protection of those prior businesses. Whether it be the underdog groups, the watchdog groups, Secret Service, CIA, FBI, ex-military. I know. You have your little loops and groups and y'all protect each other while our children get fucked and tortured, and they feed it to the activist groups and the feeders and the chasers and the investigations. It feeds all of those funded markets that need the crime. They need the wildfires, or there's no funding if there's no problems with that stuff, right? So when you go back over the years, especially between 2008 and 2013, really, really bad. We were beyond fed up. Yeah, so in 2016, it was the kind of shots in the dark people were taking because so many were already dead, trying to bring awareness to what these punks were doing. Right, and then when you have the people who are coming in and they're playing the fucking drama soap opera games and then putting drugs and dogs before people and going after dog kickers and Nazis and non-vaxxers, like, yeah, we got a fucking problem. Right, so we got the attention, more so, that we already had of those animal activist groups. I know, gave them just what they needed, huh? Right, and we know that. We're very aware we've been doing this for a long time. When you go back to the 90s and you understand a lot of the jerk games that go on and how many are just having fun. I know, they're just doing fun pranks, innocent ones. I know, people get pissed. Right, well, as you can see, it was kind of in a fun way. Right, do you remember back, like Tom Green? My bum. Right, it's kind of funny, right? And then they wanted to cash in on the goofball kind of pranking. And then all of a sudden, boom, right, jackass, punked, freaking all this shit they were doing. You know, where are all those people now? Punked and all them. I think some died in accidents. Some of them went over to do the cool car racing in other countries, like Germany and those places. Yeah, they definitely don't want to stay here. I know, man. You got to get away from crazy Americans, drunks, hicks, racists. I know. Get away from them. Right. So when you understand that, and that stuff's been being watched very closely, you can't do too much about it. Most of them aren't really breaking any laws. Right. When you understand, look at the Tate games and all that, and Andrew Tate who went to prison. Right. Similar to those kind of games. And when you have so much of that stuff going on and they're getting the kids involved with the feeding and the chasing, Right. Let's get a real 13-year-old instead of a grown man police officer to pose as a 13-year-old girl. We'll get a real one. Right. And a lot of those investigations are just bullshit. It's all bullshit. Oh, man. I know, like, they go down through the list. It's like, if people could just focus on what's at hand. But they don't want to do that. I know, because it kind of crumbles the whole tower of delusional bullshit that they want to think is real. And it very much is real, right? You can live in your little make-believe world if you get the money. Or, right, because it's not just money, is it? Because a lot of people with a lot of money care and have been putting a lot of time, mentally and physically, into trying to bring awareness and attention to these things. It's just as important as their businesses and money, whatever else is to them. So I know when people want to say billionaires and just throw rich people, poor people, I mean, no wonder, no fucking wonder. And then when you look in the middle, what the fuck, huh? I know, you wonder, you look at these news people, like, do you have any common sense at all? Any decency? Mm-hmm. Makes you wonder sometimes, huh? Yeah, so anyone who cares, if you want to help report the facts here, and these punk pedophiles who have been making child and animal pornography and feeding that out, why don't they want to talk about it? Investigators. Huh? Come on, FBI people involved with some of these bullshit 7-Eleven Barbie doll, Ken doll stings. It's fucking sick and you guys know it. It's childish. You don't gotta really admit to anything. Can we just drop the bullshit and acknowledge the facts and concerns with the children being fucked and tortured, the child and animal pornography, the overprescribing of SSRIs and the dangers of vaccines? Be pretty important. As you can see, those are the topics they've been very confused about, fearing the non-vaxxers, the bullies, the cartel families. And when you go back and you see how that was all being very much calculated, perpetuated, yeah, very much so. Peddled out. And when you see it and you see those streams and then what's happening within those streams, and a lot of good people just dying, getting attacked, overdoses. Everyone's getting threats, I know. Jesus Christ. Paranoia. Paramecium. Paravenicular. That's funny. You could use that in a few ways. Paravenicular. Oh, I gotta Google that. I just want to see what I get. Yeah, do you have any suggestions as to how we can get people to report the facts and what's happening here with that stuff? And how sad it is that many were tricked and fooled and have been pressuring people to get vaccinated, to take those SSRIs by the time they're 8 years old, before the anxiety gets out of control and they want to use demon weed. Oh no. Or not. I mean, some don't venture either way. Some Right. I know, it's like, you look at my son, he's going to be 17. He doesn't even get involved with, he doesn't care about alcohol, drugs, cigarettes. He doesn't want anything to do with any of that stuff. Mm-hmm. Prime subject matter for certain groups, huh? I know. I know it. It's a business, huh? I know, and everybody has been teased or had something done to them that makes them justified to do that to somebody else. Oh, and they deserve it. I know. You heard them say something mean, yell, on or offline. I know. I know. They've shown you the clips. It's not a standard English word based on the spelling. You might be looking for paravane, which is a torpedo, Paravane. Paravane. Yeah. It's a, excuse me. It's a torpedo-shaped cable-towed device with hydrofoils used to cut the moorings of submerged mines. Now see, paravenicular just came out of nowhere, I guess, right? Did I hear it? Did I see it? Did I think it? Did a frequency create that thought? What happened? Right. So I look up paravenicular, and it says you might have meant paravane. And somewhere in the universe, some frequency thought kind of the same process as before. I don't know, really. Space. It might have come from a different direction. I don't know. Yeah, thumbs up. Yeah, they said, yep, that's what they meant. Paravane. Okay. All right. So why does that make me crazy? Who am I talking to? I'm talking to myself. I think I hear voices. Are you sure? I can hear you. I can hear myself. So yes, I hear voices. You want to check a box and say I need to be medicated? And that I'm dangerous if I don't? You sick fucks. You sick, nasty motherfucking pieces of shit within our state departments and others. I'd be packing your shit and getting the fuck out. I'm telling you right now. You know who you are. There's speckled all throughout our State Department, teachers, law enforcement. To those of you, if you weren't aware before and you are now, trust me, there's a lot of love and forgiveness here. So you can do the right thing by speaking out and helping these kids that are in the hands of sick, murderous pedophiles. We don't expect you to do a thing. You can't arrest anybody. You can't, Mr. Lawyer, you can't. Mr. Homeless person, you can't. Excuse me, Mr. or Mrs. Jesus Christ. Fuck, people. Grow up. Right. Mr. Police Officer, Mr. Judge, Mrs. Piggy. None of you can help these kids get out of the hands of these sick motherfuckers, but you can help people understand and maybe help to save the children in some of these situations that are being fucked and tortured, already have been. And we showed you and we've told you how they get away with it without leaving marks. Yeah, sometimes the kids don't even know, even if they can talk, they get put out in their sleep. Yeah, we're telling you that we've been doing this for a long time. It's a huge concern. Yeah, and just us personally and recollections. And when you look back at our childhood and what we've been speaking of, you should understand these things are very real. And that abusers from back then are protecting the sick fuck punks who have our children today. And if you don't want to wake up to that and realize that you don't have to, we love you and we forgive you. But we're going to continue to call them sick motherfucking pigs, and anyone protecting them is a sick motherfucking piece of shit. And we do hope you burn in hell forever and ever and feel the pain and torture that those kids have felt tenfold. It's pretty simple.
Did you know that motorcyclists are 27 times more likely to die in a motor vehicle crash than passenger vehicle occupants?
Right. You're welcome. I know, that's what we've been saying for years. We don't even expect them to smack them on the wrist. Because people will go into this stuff that can or can't be proven. No arrest can be made. Doesn't mean we can't address what's happening in the facts and concerns. The events that have already taken place. And they don't even want to talk about that. And that's scary. And when you see how that's connected to a lot of those other things with the vaccines and the overprescribing of SSRIs and the things we were involved with going back to the early 2000s. Yeah, and they don't want to listen back then either. Do you remember like Andrea Yates and some other cases of people putting their kids in the oven and into the lake? Yeah, Yates, she put all, 5 of them in the car. Rolled it right in the lake. Yeah. So, and these people were listening to God or the devil, right? And then you're trying to talk to the state workers and other people about the concerns with people with hypersensitivities or brain damage. Yeah, they're special or retarded, I know, depending on what family they're from. What classification of doctor. Right, because you can see the same symptoms will get diagnosed very differently, depending on what kind of doctor you see. I remember we did this game quite a few times back before we were diagnosed with Lyme disease, remember? Same symptoms, go to different doctors. One says fibromyalgia, one says lupus, early onset MS, rheumatoid arthritis. Just for shits and giggles, we were showing people. Right, so the doctors we were working with in Connecticut, Dr. Bernard Raxlin, and you have Dr. Mulliken down in Kennebunk. Right, and then you have a whole host, handfuls of infectious disease specialists, psychologists. Well, quite a lot of people that are aware of these things. Right, they specialized in the Lyme disease, and if you look at the Lyme disease and bioweapon stuff that's been being talked about with Kennedy and other people, hello? Should all really start to make sense, and you should just realize that it is what it is, and you need to fucking speak up about the concerns that we're talking about and how people have been abusing chemicals and weapons, energy, frequencies. It's not that hard to understand. So yeah, that happens, and so many people want to stay secret and private and teach themselves how to protect themselves and teach their children how to protect their children. Don't put them in public schools. Don't this, don't that. And then they're all, right, because they know the evilness that others have done and how they target people in those places. They know that. And how people stay silent to this shit. I don't know what the fuck you think you're protecting. It's you nasty fucking people. Evil. Yeah. You're welcome. Yeah, if you have any other questions, comments, or concerns or suggestions as to how we can get people to wake the fuck up and actually report the facts, that'd be awesome. We're right here. Name's Mary, Governor Hill Mansion. You're welcome.